Tonight on the Local Live, the owner of Ralph's sues the village of Mamaroneck for $300,000. A Beats pizza truck is in the spotlight. Larchmont wishes a warm goodbye to their favorite UPS man, but not without a thank you gift. This and more stories coming up. Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday, August 17th. I'm Alexandria Garcia. Welcome to the Local Live. Owner of Ralph's Italian Ices, Scott Rosenberg, is suing the village of Mamaroneck for $300,000 in damages and asking to reopen. The suit alleges the village acted viciously in their decision to forcefully close Ralph's. According to the Mamaroneck Daily Voice, the suit names the Zoning Board of Appeals, Building Inspector Dan Gray, and an unknown number of residents who have been opposed to the business being opened as defendants. Both parties have until August 31st to settle the matter. The Town of Mamaroneck Democratic Party Committee announced its 2017 candidates. According to a press release put out by the committee, the slate of officials includes Supervisor Nancy Sellingson, Town Council Member Jane Elkindini, Town Justice Ron Meister, and first-time candidate Sabrina Fiddleman for Town Council. All the candidates are currently running unopposed. November 7th is the next election day. Mamaroneck's own Kyle and Jaden Snow brought home medals after competing at the USA Track and Field Junior Olympics National Outdoor Championships. They competed on behalf of the Notre Dame Track Club. Kyle Snow competed in the boys 9 to 10 triathlon, finishing in third place with a bronze medal. His brother competed in the pentathlon, finishing in sixth place. Congratulations, Kyle and Jaden. Mamaroneck's Public Schools Assistant Superintendent for Business Operations, Merle Rubenstein, is retiring after a decade on the job. The Mamaroneck Public School District praised Rubenstein and said in a press release sent to the community that they are, quote, confident she has paved the way for her successor's success. Her successor will be Kathleen Ryan. She previously served the same role in the Rye School District and the Croton-Harmon District. After an amazing 26 years, Larchmont is saying goodbye to their favorite UPS delivery man. Fernando Remigio of Rockland County started delivering for UPS in 1993 and has made many genuine connections with his customers. One of his customers, Larchmont resident Elizabeth Cavanagh, took her appreciation for her favorite UPS man to the next level. She has started a GoFundMe page for a retirement gift for Remigio that anyone can donate to. The goal is $3,000, a sweet gesture from Larchmont residents to Remigio. If you would like to donate, you can go to GoFundMe.com. Coming up next, we'll have Morocco Thari and Jupiter Joe talking all things about next week's solar eclipse.
Hello and welcome back to the Local Live. We have a very special guest here with us today who goes by the name of Jupiter Joe. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you.
So you're the founder of Sidewalk Astronomy in the Bronx, and you're also an amateur astronomer. So could you talk about Sidewalk Astronomy first of all?
Sure. Sidewalk astronomy is basically a form of outreach that we do, where we bring telescopes out to the general public and teach them about astronomy. People really don't expect that. And depending on where you bring your telescopes, it can really engage people in ways that they've never experienced before.
And as an amateur astronomer, how did you get into loving astronomy? How did you get into that?
I fell in love as a kid, like most kids will, and I just carried that love and that passion for science and specifically astronomy with me throughout my life.
Okay, so we invited you here today because we have a very big day coming up on August 21st. We're going to have a huge total solar eclipse. It's a big deal for astronomers like yourself, scientists, but it's just a big deal in general.
Yeah, it is.
So for the viewers at home, can you describe what a total solar eclipse is?
So basically, a total solar eclipse is when the moon actually passes between the Earth and the sun in a specific area. So granted, the moon revolves around the Earth every month, but it's not always in this exact location where it actually blocks the sun and causes an eclipse to happen. When that happens, we can actually see the moon's shadow cast onto the Earth. But because the Earth is 75% water, it's not always visible on land. This time, the reason this is great for us here in the United States is it's labeled as the Great American Eclipse. The reason being is it's in a transit all the way from the West Coast in Oregon going straight across. It's a 70, almost a 70-mile wide shadow that's in a cast going straight down through South Carolina. So because of this, everyone across the United States will be able to view the eclipse in one form or another. So they'll see partial eclipses, but if you're in that very special line that's 65 miles wide, you'll be able to see a total solar eclipse.
So is it only in the United States, or will everyone across the world be able to see it?
So it's only going to be visible in the Americas. So it will be visible in parts of Mexico. It will be visible in parts of Canada as well. But the majority of it will be visible here in the United States.
So then
and that's where we're going to be getting some of the best views.
Awesome. So how often does this happen?
So this one's very special. The last time this happened was 99 years ago, on June 8th of 1918. And the next one, I know we say that it's kind of rare, but the next one's actually coming around in 7 years. So
that's better than 99 years.
Something for people to plan for.
Awesome. So how can people watch a solar eclipse? I know there's specific ways to watch it. You have to be really careful because it can be a little dangerous. So can you talk about the different glasses I see that you brought and what you need to do to prepare for it?
There's a couple of different ways. So of course, looking at the sun is very dangerous if you do it without eye protection. So that's one of the things that people really have to understand. So these here are eclipse glasses.
I'll try these on for the viewers at home. Very fashionable.
Very fashionable, but you can't see anything through them except for sunlight. So any light that's at that wavelength of pure sunlight, you'll be able to see through those. It blocks out 99.9999% of the harmful rays that would come into your eyes.
That's great.
So this makes it very comfortable for you to look at the sun.
Where do you get glasses like these?
So the best thing for you to do is actually, at this time, because we're so close to the eclipse, they're pretty much sold out online. But if you can partner with your local astronomy clubs or local museums, libraries, lots of them are having events. Those are probably your best choices. You can also look online on the NASA website. It's eclipse2017.nasa.gov, and they'll have all the information that you need right there.
Okay, is there any other, besides glasses, other equipment that we can use to watch them? So
what we have here, this here is a solar telescope. This is actually a travel model. And what this allows us to do is actually look at the sun, but it's going to magnify the view. So because you want to get a nice crisp view of the eclipse, this is a great way to do it, and it's totally safe. And this is one of those items that you can let kids operate. They're not going to harm themselves. There's no filter to come off. The filter is actually built right into it. So it makes it super safe.
Now, obviously, this must be a little more expensive, but if people were interested, where would they get something
like something like this? They can visit celestron.com, and they can actually find the products there, and they'll have links to where you can purchase them locally. These items here, again, not very expensive. This is about $100. And it comes with a tripod, it comes with a backpack, so it makes it nice and easy for people, to take on the go.
And is this just for the solar eclipse?
This is only for solar. This is only for solar astronomy, so they can use it throughout the year, or for as long as they own it, to look at the sun. They can see sunspots with it. They can see other features that are on the sun that are on the surface. So these only look at the surface of the sun. They can also purchase.
Hold on to that.
We'll have that there. And you also have binoculars. So these are solar binoculars, and they serve the same purpose. They're just a bit easier for you to carry around, and these magnify as well, but the same thing.
Are they safer for the eyes?
They are. So these, again, have filters built into them. The filters can't come off. You don't have to worry about that. Don't have to worry about anybody using them incorrectly.
And again, you would buy this on the NASA website?
Yes. You would actually visit celestron.com, and this is part of their Eclipse Smart products.
Okay. Awesome. So what can scientists learn from the solar eclipse?
Well, some of the great things that you learn from an eclipse are when eclipse happens, you can see variations in temperature, you can see variations in animal species, how they react. One of the great things that me as a local astronomer likes to really look at is getting people engaged to really look at the sun. Because if they don't realize how far the sun is, what color the sun is. These are some of the tools that we use to teach them that. One thing, like most people think the sun is yellow. We're always drawing a yellow sun. It's really white. And the way we can tell that is if I wear a white T-shirt and I go outside, the light that reflects off of me from the sunlight is white. It's only yellow during sunset, and that's because of the long wavelength of colors.
That's very
interesting. So these are ways that we can actually educate people on the science behind the sun.
That's really cool. So I know you're going up to Oregon to watch the solar eclipse. So for people at home in Larchmont, Mamaroneck, around our area, where would be the best possible viewing spot to watch this eclipse?
The best possible viewing that you can get in this area is right in your own backyard. If they have a clear view of the sky, because of the time that the eclipse is happening, so here in New York, it's going to start at about 1:23 in the afternoon. And the maximum coverage, which is going to be about 70% here in Larchmont and Mamaroneck, that will be at about 2:45. So for about 2 minutes, around 2:45, they'll be able to see in the afternoon. Yes. So they'll be able to see 70% of the sun covered by the moon. So you'll see an upside down crescent, basically.
That's really awesome. So you also had a sidewalk observatory here in Larchmont. Any chances that's coming back?
Sure, yeah. Our observation days are pretty much throughout the year. We try and schedule them on a monthly basis, and then I like to partner with other groups and other astronomy clubs in the area so that we can actually get more people engaged.
That's really awesome. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
having
having
me with me here today. And I'm looking forward to watching the solar eclipse. Stay tuned for more of the Local Live.
Did you know that if you missed the last government meeting, you can watch it on our website? Just go to lmctv.org, click on videos, then click on municipal meetings, scroll down to find the meeting you want, or use the search function in the upper right corner and type in the name or date of the meeting. Then watch. You can see the full agenda and jump to a specific agenda item. It's all a click away at lmctv.org.
Reporter Sabila Chipaziwa has the details on the new pizza truck taking Harbor Island by storm.
This summer, a Beats rolled into Harbor Island Park, offering wood-fired pizza for the masses, inspired by good old Italian home cooking.
I've never really seen an oven on the truck before, and I've always been involved in the restaurant business. I've always cooked pizza at home for my family and friends, so this is kind of the easiest way into owning my own restaurant, is to building a truck like this one.
Taking inspiration from his grandmother and his childhood in White Plains, David uses an oven imported from Italy, which cooks the pizza fast, giving a nice flavor and char.
Christina, she was always making, fresh doughs, from pasta to breads and stuff like that. So, I always loved pizza growing up in New York, and so my pizza is kind of like a mix between, Neapolitan pizza and New York pizza. So there's some classic stuff that the older people would like, and I have some new, fun stuff for the younger generation.
There is a cute story behind the food truck's name, too.
I heard my grandparents saying it when we were little. So they had a broken, what do I want to say? They couldn't speak English well. So they said, that's how they pronounced pizza. They said, beats.
You're probably wondering why Dave chose Harbor Island Park as the home base.
It's close to home. It's definitely a great place to work. I'm right on the beach. I get to enjoy the views here. And if anybody wants to find me, I actually have a locator on my website, which will pinpoint exactly where the truck is located. The website is abeetsny.com. So that's ABEETZNY.com. And on Instagram and Facebook, abeetsny. Yeah, guys, I welcome everybody down. Come down to the Mamaroneck Harbor Island to try my pizza. If you're in the area, definitely stop by. This is some of the best pizza you're going to try.
So be sure to check out our Beats at Harbor Island Park for the rest of the summer. After all, you gotta eat. For the Local Live, I'm Sabila Chipaziwa.
For a way to get your YouTube project off the ground? Well, look no further. Down here at LMC TV, we have the tools to bring your ideas to life. With the magic of green screen, you can go anywhere. If you're into current events, politics, or entertainment, sounds like you create your own news channel. And this is the perfect spot for you. We have access to numerous pre-made news sets with customizable options. So come share what you think is important to your audience. Or if you want to talk about things that you love, like video games, then this is your GameStop. Give your personal review, share your tricks and cheats, or boast your achievements. whatever you want to share with your fellow gamers. Hungry for more? Come teach us how to create some tasty treats, share kitchen hacks, or easy meals. Be your own Chef Boyar YouTube. Into creating but not cooking? This is your DIY destination. Tell the world how you create fun things from scratch. Come on down and start recording. The sky's the limit down here at LMC. If you want to make your very own YouTube show, come down Tuesdays or Fridays between 4 and 6. You must reserve your time in advance and bring your own script, JPEGs, and videos on a USB with you. Go to lmctv.org for more information.
"20 years ago this month, Princess Diana died. And 5 years before that, or 25 years ago, Andrew Morton published a book based on Diana's own tape recordings. Interesting history and remembrances, but what does it have to do with Larchmont and Mamaroneck? Simple. Mamaroneck High School graduate Wednesday Derrico is directing a play written by James Clements called, in her own words, The Diana Tapes, and you can go see it this month in New York City. Wednesday and James are here with us, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
James, I'm going to start with you. Tell us about the play.
Well, it was a story that, I was too young to remember the first time, but I do remember the Princess of Wales passing. It's one of my earliest childhood memories. I was 5 years old, and it just paralyzed Britain. And as I got older and studied theatre, I became fascinated with characters that were culturally important and working out why they mattered. And this part of her story really jumped out to me as ripe for an adaptation.
Now, this is based on the tapes that were handed over to Andrew Morton.
Yes, that she recorded and through a friend surreptitiously in a cafe handed to this journalist to then write an autobiography masked as a biography, as a way for her to express herself and put her story out without full responsibility, I suppose.
Does the play answer why she did it and whether she was glad, given it essentially ended her marriage?
I think it presents why, I hope very clearly, but in terms of if she was glad, I would leave that up to the audience, because I think there was pros and cons for her for the choice.
Wednesday, as the director, what is it about Diana that you wanted to come through?
This play really drew me in because even though it's written by a male writer, which usually when I'm working on plays about female protagonists, I would prefer a female writer, but what surprised me about this play was that James really had no clear point of view on Diana's actions in a way that it was open to the audience. Diana is not portrayed as a villain. She's not portrayed as a victim. She has agency, but also is using the resources available to her in this very stark situation and very tense situation. So I was really drawn in by the portrayal of her. I thought it was a unique approach to Diana.
One of the questions raised in some of your promotional literature is who's the victim and who's the victor? You want to tell us?
It's not very clear. I think it really depends on your point of view. When we do the play in the UK, British citizens have a very strong point of view on the monarchy, one way or the other. And bringing it to America, a similar thing is happening. Some people really love and idolize Diana, but other people really think of her as a member of that family and don't agree with the policies and the way that they live their lives.
Well, the show opens this Saturday and it runs through August 27th in New York City, and we will be putting up all the details. But this isn't the first showing of it.
No, we did it initially last summer at the Edinburgh Festival. I'm from Scotland, and so I was determined to get all of my American colleagues over to Glasgow one way or another. So we decamped to Scotland, and half of our team were British artists and half were American, which was super informative for the piece and very interesting. So we did it first at the Fringe there, and then we did the regional US premiere in Providence in June, and now we're excited to bring it to New York. So that's been the journey.
And after this, where do you hope it goes?
After this, we're going to be going up to Toronto, Canada, which we're very excited about because Canadians also are generally big fans of Diana. So we'll be going up there, and we have a lovely black box theater there in September.
Okay. Have you had any feedback from the royal family or actually from anyone else who's involved in the story?
Well, not from the royal family, not yet anyway, but Andrew Morton, who is the book, obviously, as you said, the play is based on.
And we'll add that you play him in the play.
I do indeed. I've been told we have a resemblance. But we got in touch with him, we sent him the script, and he tweeted about it and said it was, I think he said, curious to see yourself as a stage character, fascinating four-hander. So hopefully he will continue to be involved with the piece because it's all true. You know, it's stranger than fiction, one of those stories.
Surprisingly, the publisher, Michael O'Mara, who's generally more reserved and doesn't really tweet as much, he also tweeted and said, must be interesting to have a character of me on stage.
Interesting.
So, I think,
so they're paying attention.
Yeah.
I think, it's getting to them. It's getting to them.
Well, Wednesday, we always have to go with the local angle here. How did growing up in Mamaroneck and going to Mamaroneck High School inform your work here?
Well, I went to public school here in Mamaroneck all my life. I went to Mamaroneck Avenue, where I had some really inspiring teachers and an amazing arts program. I mean, we did a huge musical every year. We also had music class and band. And then when I got to the high school, there were so many theater programs to get involved with inside the school and outside the school. I was in PACE. I was also in the Shakespeare, Semi-Royal Shakespeare Company. So I was doing plays all the time. And what was so great about PACE was that we did a lot of original work, which is something that I continued to study at NYU in the experimental theater wing, where we also continued to produce our own work. So I really got the tools I needed here in Mamaroneck at public school.
That's great to hear. So Diana continues to captivate all of us. I mean, this month is practically devoted to her. What is it about her?
I think her humanity. You know, I think these documentaries and all the pieces we're seeing, people are trying to understand her significance. And I think it really comes down to she was very open to sharing her experiences with people, and people relate to that honesty.
And another part of Diana's story that really interests us as millennials is the connection between politics and celebrity and entertainment culture. And looking back at this story, just 20 years ago, we see the emergence of that connection through Diana. She was a pop figure in many ways and a celebrity figure with her fashion choices and her connection to American celebrity culture, but also part of the politics of the UK and of England.
The constitutional,
Yeah, so we think that bridge is very relevant today.
So do you think she was taken advantage of? And does this play exploit her?
I think, I'll answer the second part first, it's a little easier. The play, I was very careful as a writer to really give her, as Wednesday said, agency. So these are words verbatim that she recorded onto these tapes. So I don't consider it exploitative because it is the story that she wanted out there. And I feel like what we have tried to do is fully bring that to life and do her justice as a rounded character. So I hope that she would, if she saw it, appreciate the story that she chose to tell.
Yeah.
Was she taken advantage of? It's difficult.
Well, the system was presented to her from a very young age. She's part of the royal family. She was in the pool of people that would be considered for the position of princess and maybe one day queen. So she had that goal in her mind, and the way she's portrayed in interviews is that she wanted to be the princess, and that she also did want to be with Charles, even though it was very obvious the kind of life that he was living and the kind of man and partner that he would probably be for her. So in many ways, she did put herself into the position that she found herself. And this play looks at her after the fact, like several years into the marriage, and seeing her looking back on her 19-year-old self wanting this and seeing what she's gotten.
Okay. Let me just get you guys to clarify something. We've talked about your play being based on the Andrew Morton tapes. There were tapes that were played on the BBC recently that caused a whole furor, right? These are not the same tapes.
So those were with a vocal coach, I believe, who was there to coach her on speech, and they became close, and so the sessions kind of became therapeutic. These are different tapes. These were recorded specifically for Morton, because they had a mutual friend who was a doctor who played squash with Andrew Morton every Sunday. And that's the reason he got the job effectively. So he would send questions with the mutual friend, and the princess would record her answers. And I mean, people getting in the trunk of cars, MI5 raiding offices, like stranger than fiction. So these tapes are specific to the book. And
have these tapes been heard before?
Not the audio. The transcripts have been published in subsequent editions of the book, but the audio, I believe has not been publicly available, but I think it's coming out this month on a National Geographic special. Andrew Morton has sort of lent for the first time the tapes out.
So you guys really couldn't have timed this much better, could you?
It felt like the zeitgeist, and like Wednesday said, with the recent political developments in both of our countries, just really looking at this entertainment, political media culture and working. I mean, it means a lot to our society, and it's important for us to examine it.
So tell everyone where, when they can see the play.
Yes, you can come see the play at IRT Theater, which is on 154 Christopher Street. What Will the Neighbors Say is producing a residency all month. There are many different shows going on, including the Diana tapes, so check out our website to find out all those details. And we'll be running all month until the last weekend of August.
And that'll be up on the screen, and you can
And the tickets are $10, we should say. An important part of our mission is trying to make theatre more accessible to all different demographics, so...
$10 tickets.
Cheaper than a copy of People, if you want to know about Princess Diana.
Yeah.
James Clemens, Wednesday Derrico, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
After last week's pet adoption show from the Mamaroneck Block Party, Pet Rescue reached out with some amazing news. 4 out of the 5 puppies we showcase have found their forever homes. And now for this week, we have Cub, an adorable 2.5-year-old chow mix who weighs about 45 pounds. He loves long walks and car rides. He can be a bit anxious. He would be best in a suburban home with a female dog or a quiet, appropriate dog. Not recommended with cats. Cupcake is a real charmer and also a feline dynamo. Playful and beautiful with the most striking markings. She likes to be petted and loves to play, play, play. Cupcake will be best as an only cat in an active household without small children. To adopt Cub or Cupcake or to learn about other pets you can adopt, please go to ny-petrescue.org. Please consider making an online donation to support the local live. It will help us purchase new set furniture. Check out LMC TV's wish list on our website. To make a cash donation, click on the donate button in the upper right corner. We'd really appreciate it. We always welcome new volunteers and interns, and we love hearing from our viewers. Send us an email to locallive@lmctv.org. Thank you so much for watching our show. That's all for tonight. I'll see you next week for a new episode of The Local Live.